Hello everyone and welcome back for the tropical update for the 18th of September. Just before we start, if you do enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It will help me spread awareness about these natural disasters, and it would be highly appreciated. So today we're going to be looking at Tropical Storm Odette and the other areas of interest at this bit of time. This does include Invest 95 and 97L. So taking a look at Odette right now, the important thing to note with this system is that we no land threat to the Canadian Maritime land masses, and this is going to stay well to the east and to the south. And Odette is expected to become a post-tropical cyclone by Sunday morning. I think the NOC will still issue advisory with this system, but I'm not totally 100% sure. And if we're looking at this cone, we can see that over the next couple of days it's been carrying on its northeast journey, and eventually turning to the east and eventually to the south. And this is due to the fact that it's a high pressure setting up to the west and to the east of the system, and this is just going to keep it meandering in this general location until it gets picked up by an area of low pressure. So take a look at Invest 95 and Invest 97. So Invest 95 does have a high chance of turning into a storm, a depression or storm over the next 5 days, and a medium chance for 97 to become a depression or storm over the next 5 days. Some good news with the 97 now, it does expect it to be moving out into the open waters in the Atlantic Basin. Not too sure about Invest 95 L at this time. The Greater Western Islands could definitely see some maybe those outer rain bands or any rain clouds coming their way from Invest 95L, and we'll briefly touch on that in in this video. So take a look at Invest 97L's tracks, then we can see it. The general movement over the next couple of days is going to be to the north and to the northwest really. Um, and as we head out beyond the 2 to 3 day forecast, there's a lot of spread where the system could be, but again, there's no land concern with the system. It could be further to the west or further to the east. So it doesn't matter where the system is going to go, it does seem that no land concern is going to be with the system. Quickly showing the intensity guidance for the system, it is expected to become maybe a short-lived tropical storm. A character on hurricane, the H-Wolf advantage is probably blowing out of proportion, but we could get maybe a moderate tropical storm out of this system as it moves to the north and into the open waters of the Atlantic Basin. Taking a look at Invest 95L then, and this is where the chances that the Greater Lesser Antilles Islands could see some outer rain bands from 95L is that as there is a few southerly tracks, but the general consensus is the more central kind of track, and then taking that turn out to the northeast where Bermuda will need to watch this system over the next 5 days. So do keep on now, probably checking in every day just to get an update on where the system's going to be going. Even if it goes down the central line, you could potentially see some of those outer rain bands from this system if the convection field does expand. So you could see some of those outer rain bands. So you can look at the intensity guidance for this system, and you can see that the general consensus is going to stay a a low-end tropical storm over the next couple of days. So we'll have to monitor this system as it will find itself a bit more of like on the GIF, a favourable environment potentially to intensify in the subtropics before as it makes its approach to Bermuda. The H-Wolf isn't picking up on this, but it could be a possibility that we might need to monitor down the line. But the short trend is that it'll be a low-end tropical storm, as it will be interacting a low pressure that was a TUT feature that did get cut off, and now that is now an upper level low, and this will be creating some wind shear for this system. So taking a look at Invest 97L then, and they both do now have some somewhat of a well-defined low-level circulation, and we do see a recent burst of very deep convection firing to the east of 97L's centre. That is somewhere in this region. We can't see it really this well on infrared satellite, but in visible satellite it is very well. There has been support for some low level center in this region, and we can see this deep burst of deep convection firing to the east. If this manages to wrap around, we could potentially see a depression later on tonight or tomorrow morning. So this system is expected again to become a storm, I mean a depression or storm over the next 5 days, and it is well on its way to becoming a depression over the next couple of days. looking at Invest 95L then, and this has impressively um, awoken really, as it does now have a well-defined low level center in here, and it has been trying to make itself more well-defined throughout the day. And now we do see some more deep convection firing where that low level circulation is, and the low level circulation isn't in this region. Again, we can't see where exactly. Well, we can't really see where we can exactly estimate where it is because we're on infrared satellite, as there's not any more sun um, on these systems as it is now. Nighttime in the Mediterranean region. But again, the deconversion is fine where that low level circulation is, and this is just helping to that low level circulation to become more defined, tighten up, and then the winds do respond from the low level center tightening up, and then when the pressure gradient falls, the winds respond. So these systems are both on their way to becoming a depression over the next couple of days and eventually a tropical storm. So we could potentially see our next two names systems over the next coming days. So taking a look at the GFS 850 millibar cyclonic vorticity, and again, this is 5,000 feet off the ground, and for context, these darker reds and blacks are your more concentrated cyclonic vorticity. So here is tropical storm Odette, and we're not going to be really discussing this system as it is posing no land threat as we head out beyond the next couple of days. We're going to be mainly focusing our attention to the main development region, and especially within the West 95L, as it could cause a concern for Bermuda, and not really the Great Western Antilles Islands, but you could see some showers from the outer rain clouds. So over the next couple of days, we see that tropical storm Odette will be moving to the northeast and becoming post-tropical and interacting with low pressure. But our main concern is on 95 and 97. So here is Invest 95L at this point in time. So you see the GFS is being weak. It's not showing a well-defined area of vorticity in the atmosphere. This is probably due to the fact that the GFS is thinking that this upper level low will be causing some very extreme northerly wind shear, and this will weaken the system quite significantly. But there has been a few of the ensemble members suggesting that this storm can maintain onto its tropical storm characteristics and designation as it interacts with this upper level low. And we see over the next couple of days with this system, it does just manage to move further to the west and south, and this is especially important on the GFS run. It is very well suppressed to the south due to the fact that the system is weaker. A weaker system generally wants to move with the trade winds along to the west and ride around any kind of high pressure. A stronger system is going to be wanting to move to the north, and it will try and find a weakness in that ridge to push to the north. So we see here is Invest 95L at the 5-day mark on the GFS run. Nothing really here, and then here is the leftovers of 97L, sorry. And as we extend further out in period of time, we see that the system 95L will be starting to approach Bermuda and could potentially try to redevelop in this region. And see the GFS run does hint that we could see some redevelopment of this system. And we'll be taking a closer look at the environment for this system as we head over the next couple of days, and to see if it could redevelop. So I'll quickly show you the upper level low that's going to be causing some wind shear for this system. As we go in time, we see here is where, somewhere in here where 95L is, and it's going to be moving into this region. And we can see where this upper level low is, and then we have an upper level low, an upper level anticyclone starting to set up over the system. And as we go over the next couple of days, see this does become a bit more pronounced, and we see this upper level low sitting to the northwest, and this upper level anticyclone sitting to the east of this system. And this is going to create some very strong northerly wind shear coming out from the south, and this is going to cause a lot of wind shear. And this is just going to keep the system very suppressed and weak. So if it does manage to maintain on its tropical storm designation in this area, I'll be very quite impressed, as this system will be dealing with around maybe anywhere from like 20 maybe to 30 knots of wind shear. So this system will have to do a lot to overcome this, and I think it's just too late now for this system to build any kind of defense away from that wind shear. So unfortunately, it does look like 95L will be getting weakened, and potentially the Western Antilles Islands could see no rainfall if the convection is getting pushed off to the north, and so this would keep the Western Antilles in a bit more of a drier kind of state. Taking a look at the European models idea then of Invest 95L, we'll briefly touch on 97L as well. as we get into the latter part of this video, we see over the next couple of days, we see that Invest 95L does manage to probably maintain onto some kind of tropical storm designation or depression, but by the day 3 forecast, that interaction with the upper level low is probably subsiding, and now with the Europeans suggesting that we could see some re-intensification and development near the Bahamas. And we see that on this particular European model run, the 12Z run, we see that it does manage to even become a very well potentially a very well defined and um, good moderate tropical storm approaching Bermuda, and eventually by the end of the forecast, we'll go to the 192 hour right now, we could potentially have a moderate tropical storm to the east of Bermuda, maybe bring in some heavy, some potential rain, maybe some gusty winds included in those outer rain bands that potentially could be impacting Bermuda, and eventually the system does move a bit more further to the east of Bermuda, potentially becoming an even high-end tropical storm in the subtropics. So I had to monitor Invest 95L very carefully, as it could be passing very close to Bermuda, and this is what the European ensembles are suggesting, that this could get very close to Bermuda as a tropical storm. So I had to monitor this system over the next couple of days. So quickly taking a look at Invest 97L real quick. You see here is Invest 97L on the European model run, very weak and undefined on the European model run, but on the on-satellite observations, because they see that the system is on its way to becoming a depression and storm over the next couple of days. So we see on this particular model run of the European model run, it does try to make this become a bit more defined, but again, the vorticity is not very well concentrated in one area. We're looking for something mainly like this, but a bit more concentrated. I don't have a very well defined. I don't have a reference to make, but we want to see something like this, but a lot more compacted. And over the next couple of days, we see that the 97L really does not manage to do this at all, and we could potentially see that 97L and 96L's remnants get absorbed into 95. So we'll have to monitor 95L to see what this interaction does. But again, this is not going to turn into any kind of major super hurricane. It's just going to absorb this leftover energy. So take a look at the GFS real quick on Invest 97L. We see that. Go back in for time. So here is Invest 97L sitting to the west of the Cape Verde Islands, and over the next couple of days, again, it's going to be generally moving to the north, and the GFS really doesn't show this developing at all. The same idea with the 95L on this 12Z run of the GFS run, not really suggesting that 97 will become any more organised. Look, both of these systems on satellite observations right now are looking very healthy. They do have a low level circulation that is becoming more defined and more tighter circulation. So we'll have to see what they both do over the next couple of days, and see when they do become a depression or storm. Take a look at the European ensembles then real quick before we wrap up the video and end it here. We see that again the general suggestion that storm Odette will be generally moving to the northeast and dipping down to the south as it gets trapped between these two areas of high pressure, and again could be maintaining its tropical storm, not tropical storm, but post-tropical storm status in this region. And again, the European ensembles are suggesting we could see some redevelopment in this region as Invest 95L does move into this region. And we will be taking a bit more of a deeper dive into this over the next days as we get closer to the time. But extending out even further time, that northeast movement is expected, and there is a few ensembles that are getting ever so closer to Bermuda as a bit more of a stronger system. So I'll have to monitor again this closely for Bermuda. Quickly mentioning Invest 97L, but here's the ensemble tracks for Invest 97L. The general movement is to the north, and we don't really see any kind of suggestion that this will become a tropical storm on any higher than a tropical storm as a weak tropical storm on the European ensemble members. So this is some good news anyway, even though it doesn't compose a landfall at this moment in time, and it most likely will not. And then the European ensemble members are suggesting we may have to watch in the main region again. Take a look at the GFS ensemble members real quick. Again, not much really just to say, except they do have, again, some maybe model support you could say for Invest 95L to become tropical storm, that's very weak again. And maybe same for Invest 95L. So at this point in time, the GFS hasn't been very excited and bullish with Invest 95 and 97, but the European Ensemble members are suggesting because these both become a tropical storm and are named our next two named storms. So again, at this moment in time, Invest 95 is our most concerned kind of system at this moment in time, as it does compose somewhat of a land threat. 97 out, not really much of a land threat over the next 5 days, and Odette will be just moving out to the north and then eventually dipping down and meandering in the North Atlantic for the next couple of days. So that is going to wrap everything up for today, and if you did enjoy, again, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. We do daily uploads in the hurricane season, and I am planning on doing some more like kind of special videos, maybe some kind of maybe educational videos, or maybe some kind of reactions. So I'll be trying to think about that. And if you do have any suggestions, do leave comments in the description below in the comments below, and I will read them. So yeah, that is about it. And if you again, or as always, if you do live in hurricane-prone areas, please do stay safe. And in general, please do stay safe. And I'll see you all tomorrow.